So I love Disney park concept art. I love studying Disney park concept art. But every time we get a new land or attraction announcement with a new concept piece, we're told to tamper expectations, remember it's just blue sky, things change, and it's called concept art for a reason. But things have changed now. At this year's D23, Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro reiterated multiple times, both in person and in print, that everything Disney has announced is in development and actually on its way. Therefore, I think we can take this new batch of concept art more seriously as it's more indicative of Imagineering's actual plans than possibly ever before. So, with that being said, welcome to my new series where I have scoured, excavated, and scrutinized select pieces of D23 concept art to highlight maybe what most people are missing, what certain details stand out to me and that I think are really important, and what we should be expecting from these new additions. And I'm starting today with the Magic Kingdom Cars Land, aka the controversial replacement for the Rivers of America in Tom Sawyer Island. So, here are 10 things that you missed in the new Cars Land concept art, beginning with number 1, the reveal of the ride logo. We know that 2 rides are going to be occupying this Magic Kingdom area, with one dedicated to kids and the other being the flagship attraction. While we don't know much about the former, we do know that the latter is going to be a rally race style ride that's not in Radiator Springs. I have all kinds of questions about what ride system Disney is considering for this, but in place of that for right now, Disney has revealed the acronym or the abbreviation for the ride's name and its logo not once, but twice and on 2 different pieces of concept art. The acronym is RSN. I'm assuming the R and the S could be for Radiator Springs, or the R could be for Rally or Racers. But the N eludes me. I have not been able to figure out or come up with an idea for what it stands for. But regardless, the fact that RSN appeared twice, that tells me Imagineering has already named this ride. It has a story, it has a plan, and I bet we learn it sooner rather than later. Number 2, more accessibility. Yes, we're losing Tom Sawyer Island, but we're also gaining a lot of new space to explore, and that's accessible, and that's going to actually improve the park's overall crowd flow and interconnectivity. From what I can tell, we should be able to walk entirely around this new area as well as through it, meaning we're going to have a lot of new places to explore, atmosphere to enjoy, and all without having to wait for the rafts to open in the morning or having to be concerned about when the island closes early. Number 3, the Liberty Square Riverboat Dock. According to this concept art, the dock boarding area for the Liberty Belle Riverboat will survive, and I don't know why. But in the concept art, it's there and exactly is how it looks in person right now. I'm guessing Disney may repurpose the space, maybe for a character meet and greet or a bigger DVC kiosk. That's the only thing I think of that makes sense at the moment, but I think it's likely important and I wanted to point it out. So, Liberty Square Riverboat Dock survives. Not sure what the fate of the riverboat itself is going to be just yet. Number 4, Cars Land is only replacing some of the rivers of America in Tom Sawyer Island. If I understand the art correctly, and if I've lined up the current map of Magic Kingdom with the concept piece, we all need to be fair. This new Cars area isn't replacing all of the rivers or all of the island for that matter. A portion of the second half of Tom Sawyer Island and the one that's home to Fort Langhorne looks like it's actually be part of Villains Land, as will the far shoreline of the rivers that's home to the Native American village, the cabin, the dock, and even the Mike Fink keelboat. So we shouldn't be blaming it all on Cars. The Villains Land is part of the redo as well. Number 5, a new Magic Kingdom mountain. I don't feel like this is getting enough attention, so I'm going to keep talking about it because when I look at this art, what stands out to me isn't the Cars IP, but rather the existence of a new Magic Kingdom mountain, a new addition to the Magic Kingdom mountain range, which currently consists of Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, and formerly Splash Mountain, which of course now is Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but whether it's a mountain is kind of up for debate. But this mountain looks incredibly tall and is going to be different than what we've got at this park or any other Disney World park for that matter. And as for atmosphere, we are getting so many trees, we're getting waterfalls, we're getting snow, and it's not a frozen mountain. That alone should impress Disney park fans. We're also getting shade, which is a huge win, and we're still getting tunnels or caves, much like Tom Sawyer Island, and I would definitely count on some references to the existing island when this whole complex opens. To get an idea of what it may be like, what it may feel like, I think a close comparison would be Grizzly Peak at Disney California Adventure. But overall, I strongly think this mountain and the surrounding area, with Disney rock work and forest perspective all at work, falling water, a forest of trees, it's all going to win park fans over. And no, it's not the Old West, but it could be the most Frontierland and one of the most picturesque Frontierlands we've seen. Number 6, Lightning McQueen in Mater and what it means for Hollywood studios. So the entrance for the main Cars attraction is pretty well mapped out in the artwork. And in addition to what looks like a piston cup photo op, we also see what appears to be Lightning McQueen in Mater and in a meet and greet near the queue. And the reason why I think this will be used for photos is the fact there's a little covered queue area nearby. So what does this mean? What does it have to do with Hollywood studios? Well, the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy no longer needs to exist when this ride opens. It would actually be weird if it did. Why watch Lightning McQueen race on a screen when you can drive a car yourself and meet Lightning McQueen and Mater up close and in person? So the question is, what happens to the Academy when it closes? I have a theory. Could it be that this empty theater, coupled with Rock and Roller Coaster next door, which itself is expected to gain a retheme very soon, could these two areas be a potential site for the Monsters Inc. land? Trust me, I know there are issues with this idea, especially since the Monsters Inc. Doors coaster track is not the same as Rock and Roller Coaster, but these two attraction spots plus the parking lot surrounding them offers a lot of space, and it could be in the mix, be part of the conversation, especially if it's easier for construction crews to access. There's also the fact that the Star Wars Launch Bay building is huge. It's way bigger than it looks like when you're in the park, and it will require significant demo. And personally speaking, since it was originally the animation building and a functioning branch of Walt Disney Animation, I would rather see it saved than paved. But regardless of what happens, the fact remains that Disney World fans are going to get to interact with Lightning and Mater right in the middle of this new land, while Hollywood Studios is going to lose yet another attraction and gain yet another empty, unused space. Number 7, Wilderness Lodge inspiration. You've heard me talk about how this vision of Frontierland is taking us not to the Old West, but perhaps the Pacific Northwest with the kind of national park flair. And the closer I look at the concept art for this new land's attractions, the more I get the impression that this land will take some inspo from Disney's Wilderness Lodge. And it honestly makes sense since this Disney resort has a Pacific Northwest meets national parks theme. It even has a geyser. And in this picture, we're seeing some familiar sights. We're seeing a green roof, just like Wilderness Lodge. We're seeing craftsman-style touches and rockwork accents, just like Wilderness Lodge's entryway and much of its architecture. So if you're having a tough time visualizing what this Cars area is going to look and feel like, take a stroll through Wilderness Lodge. I think you'll get a feel for what Imagineering may be aiming for. Number 8, the Frontierland Boardwalk remains. Is this called the boardwalk? I'm honestly not sure, but that's what I'm calling this wood plank pathway that winds around the rivers of America and runs parallel to the main drag of Frontierland. But regardless of its name, it's clearly in this art, so it's staying. It's a Frontierland survivor, and I think it's going to be an incredible spot for photo ops. Number 9, familiar points of reference. Once again, if I have the artwork lined up right with Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island, it looks like the bridge for the anchor attraction will be located roughly where Aunt Polly's is today on Tom Sawyer Island. Also, the rafts to the island appear to be where the stands, populated with cars that I hope will be audio animatronics, will be located. In addition, the path to the right part of the piece is likely going to run parallel to the Haunted Mansion's covered queue. Whether it will actually affect the queue is unknown, but for the moment, and for what I can see, I don't think it will. I think guests are just going to have trees to their left while waiting in line for the Haunted Mansion instead of the river itself. Also, the dock where the rafts arrive on the island, that looks like it's going to be where this new mountain peak will be, and that's something to keep in mind when walking through Frontierland right now. Number 10, and my last point, is there is more to this concept art. When analyzing the outer perimeter of the concept art, I honestly got the idea that there's more to it. I think we're only seeing one section with this piece. The reasons are there are pathways at the beginnings of roof lines that are seemingly cut off and contribute nothing to the picture being shown. Granted, they could just be there for the sake of reference points, but they're still so vague and at strange angles that I don't think so. I think there is a larger map at WDI of the Magic Kingdom that likely contains Villain's Land and possible changes to Liberty Square. So if I'm right, we need to get used to this artwork because it's only going to be sticking around and there's a lot more to it. So those are my 10 things you missed in the new Cars Land concept art for the Magic Kingdom. And it is crazy to think that just a few months ago, we were just expecting a Tiana's restaurant for Frontierland. Imagineering clearly had way bigger plans in store. So if you noticed something new in this video, if you love Disney Park news and analysis, I would so appreciate if you would consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I still have several more D23 related videos on the way, including future installments of this particular series. But regardless, thank you so much for listening and watching today, and I hope that you have a magical day.